Nation, back at it with the podcast. And tomorrow's a big day. We got election day, and honestly, might as well break it down with two of the best political analysts that I know in my life. And um, honestly, I think that's about it. We're gonna give our thoughts, and the whole point of this is try to understand. So if you disagree with someone on this, try to understand instead of judge, because if you do that, then you know you're just gonna fall into the trap of not understanding. So, all right. Anyway, start with the intros. Amit, take it away. Give it intro. You know who you are. Maybe just a quick few facts.
My opinion? Do you want
No,
my
no, no.
opinion on the
We're
election?
we're going opinions a little bit. We're gonna get an intro. Get an intro going.
I'm Amit. I go to high school in Lower Delaware, and yep, nice. I play
Edmund?
lacrosse and soccer and basketball, so a little about me.
Very cool, very cool. I go to St. Andrews with Pranay. I also play cross country with Pranay.
I do not play cross country. All right, cool. So we got the introduction. So
Pranay would be good at cross country. He got them long legs. Looks like a dinosaur.
All right, So let's get started into it. It's a big day tomorrow. We got election day, and honestly, I think first questions without going into our predictions straight, I guess, is like your thoughts on like the whole like situation, like, because you guys see the things like how DC is like, they're like a lot of like the shops are closing, they're bolstering up, and it's like I feel like it's gonna be interesting. Like no matter who wins, there's gonna be some sort of like outbreak and stuff. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think just open up, because considering like everybody's gonna get coronavirus no matter what, because people are having parties every day. So I don't see a point in closing schools or anything. And I think you should have, like, if you want to not go to school and you want to do it online, you should have that option. But I feel they should open everything up, because let's be honest, nothing's going to change until there's actually a vaccine. And if there is immunity, we might as well like take our chances with immunity, like Sweden's doing right now. They're doing herd immunity, but then again, they did it in summer when there was more vitamin D, so they would have like better, like their immune system would work better. But still, if we had people get coronavirus, we could take a chance on immunity and herd immunity and see if it works. Otherwise, vaccinations are only like solutions, so might as well just open it up.
Yeah, what do you think is going to be like, for like with like the whole election, like
Pranay, were you talking about like how they were closing shops for the election?
Yeah, in DC. Like, what do you think of that? Like,
I mean, I think it's like kind of like just displaying again, like what's been kind of obvious is like a lot of like extremism these days, and a lot of like gaslighting, and like people like just like a lot of the time, like people are just like their ideas are constantly reinforced with like media and like social media, like just like a lot of like extremism on each side. So I think it's gonna. I definitely think there's gonna be, if either side wins, there's gonna be protests, riots.
Yeah, that's the thing that I was thinking about. Like, no matter who wins, it's gonna be because we got some, there's pretty passionate people, as you would say, on both sides, and yeah, it's gonna be an interesting battle. But yeah, okay. So what do you guys think about, like, I guess if we're gonna go sector into each party? So I guess let's start with the Democratic Party, and yeah. So what do you guys think? We're gonna talk about their candidate, Mr. Joe Joe. Yeah. So what do you think about it?
Should I go first or?
Yeah, take it away.
Well, I don't actually. I'm one person that doesn't mind either candidate. I know that sounds weird. Like, I know they're like considered racist or whatever, but I think it's a lot better options than we've had compared to like Hillary or like I don't know. I don't think the options are as bad as people are saying. Like, we got Trump on one side who, although he makes some remarks that people consider racist, he's pretty good economically and there's a good job growth with him. And I mean, if you can take away, like, all the bullshit on the side, he's actually doing pretty good in job growth. And then we got Biden on the other side who right now he doesn't know what he wants, which I don't mind because he's from Delaware. We're from Delaware. He does know when to keep his mouth shut though, which I think is very smart. And he used to not be able to. Like an old Biden, I would never support. The newer Biden, maybe I'm getting to like a little more, but think Biden has better plans right now. Because Trump's kind of like expecting like, the vaccination to come out now, which I don't think is going to happen for a pretty long time. I think Biden's more immediate with his response. And if he gets into office, he'll be more immediate. Where Trump, I feel it's his second term, so he doesn't have to do squat. He'll just be in office, just chilling with his wife. And I just think that when you have a first term candidate, it's a lot better in what they do. Like, I just feel Biden right now seems like the better candidate. But I mean, if it was Biden at the start of last term against Trump, I would definitely be supporting Trump just because I think Trump is better economically. But right now, what we need isn't just economic, it's also on a, social level. We need a leader. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Edmund, what about you?
I'll make 2 points. I don't know. I think Joe Biden is I think as a candidate, it kind of worries me because he's obviously not in like a great state of mind. He's very old. And I think if he was to be elected, it'd be very much like, it'd be very much like controlled by his party and Kamala Harris. He wouldn't have a lot of power, as you've seen. And then also, another point is I think, in all honesty, I think Trump hasn't done as terrible as a job with Corona as like, a lot of people are saying. Like the other day, a friend was showing me all these clips of like Democratic senators saying what a great job he's done. I mean, like at the debate, it could have been a lot worse. And I mean, like you saw, like Joe Biden, like they brought up the example when I think it was like the swine flu came. Like there was a lot of mismanagement there. So I mean, I guess you could.
Yeah,
Yeah, I actually think I was wrong. Like, he made good points. I do agree with him because, like, Trump, although he gets a lot of hate for it, I don't think he did as bad as people said. I mean, he didn't do that great in my opinion, but I mean, it's completely China's fault in my opinion because they closed their borders down, but they allowed people from their country to go to other countries without telling anybody about the virus. They kept quiet and they knew what the virus was. They didn't have no information. They weren't some idiots. They're smart people. And they let people go from like Wuhan to San Francisco, Wuhan to New Delhi to London to all these to Milan, all these big cities, these big hubs. And they didn't do anything. So it's not really, you can't say it's completely Trump's fault at all. I mean, he did okay, I feel. And I think actually the Democratic, senators and governors did the absolute worst. I mean, you look at what happened in Maryland. Maryland was not bad at all. Who screwed up? John Carney for Delaware, Andrew Cuomo. All the Democratic governors had just screwed up so badly. And I mean, I don't feel they did good. And a lot of that wasn't Trump's fault. It was mainly Cuomo's fault, in my opinion.
I think from an unbiased perspective, when you look at it, like there's just such like glaring like aspects, the like negative aspects of each person, like just from like just from like a factual standpoint, you got
I mean, Andrew Yang, I like Andrew Yang. I'm just gonna say.
Yeah,
he's decent.
Yeah, from like when I like was into that type of like, I feel like he was like the most like, I guess like mm, I guess one that I could feel like at least like I'm not like big into it just because like big into politics in general, but like he was probably the person that I could like at least like level with, because like continuing on with like the negative aspects, you got Trump, who's like kind of mishandled this coronavirus thing, and even if all the people didn't die from coronavirus, a lot of people still died, and just like the amount of like, I guess, ego that he has is kind of like not in like a bad way, where it's kind of like he doesn't like, I don't think he realized that like he's like, even though like he's like making his supporters happy, he's like pissing off the other half of the country, and like the whole point of being a president is to unite people, and that's not at all what he's doing. The thing with Biden is, again, yeah, he's a little. It's like I feel like he's kind of in. I don't know. He'd be used as like a. I'm like, just an opinion basis. He might be used as like a puppet in a sense. Not saying that he's like anything bad with him, but like I don't know. Just like from like the debates, and like from just the perspective of just someone that's like not really into it. It's like he just like, and just like his record, like it's just like I feel like he's the type of person that would just like, in a sense, just be another president, which is kind of like not really what we need right now. And it's like the thing with the Democrat Republican thing, it's like they're so like they try to push their agenda, but then a lot of times they just push their agenda over like what's best, and don't really settle like a lot, like you can see like right now, like I'm pretty sure like the government isn't there, like they just like then like the Senate, like they're disagreeing on like a stimulus package, but like people need the money, but they kind of choose their interest over a common goal, which is like kind of like the whole point of being someone, is to like get rid of your biases to help the people that are receiving it. But yeah, so I guess right now we can go into predictions. So Edmund, what do you think? What do you think's gonna?
I think it really depends on African American voters, just to be honest, because I was watching how, like, if Pennsylvania goes Democratic, it's basically over for Trump. And I seriously do think it's going to be Democratic this year. And I do think Biden will slide by like maybe 1 or 2% of and maybe like 5 votes of the electoral college. I think that will be the difference. I don't think it will be as big as people are saying it will be. Like, people are saying like, oh, 15, 20 points. For Biden, I think it'll be within 10 points. And I think people will do just enough voting to get by. And I feel mail-in ballots help the African American community and the Democratic side, because Democrats are more, scared about the coronavirus, and conservatives are like, hey, I'm just going to go out and vote. So I feel mail-in really helps liberals, and I think that will be enough to get them to win.
I mean, just like off of mail-in ballots, I think it's quite concerning, a lot of the stuff that's been coming out about it. Like, there's like cases of voter harvesting. They found like mail-in ballots, like piles in the trash. So I mean, obviously that's quite concerning, like with how the results will turn out. And then in terms of like predictions, I agree. I don't think it's going to be like a huge gap by the end of it. I think it's going to be very close. In fact, like me and some friends were talking that it could be so close that it could be neither reaches 270, in which case it would go to like Senate and House Representatives. And if it was in that case, it probably would be Biden who would win. But I don't know. I think like what Amit was saying, I think it's going to be like very key, like battleground states. Like, I know, yeah, PA is a very big one. There's just like North Carolina. There's a lot of states that are kind of turning that were on Trump's side in 2016.
Yeah, it's gonna be close. Like, I was watching. I don't know. I've like seen different things. Like these like 3 guys that said they were like they could travel into the future, and like this one guy that's like predicted elections, for on TikTok, which is like saying Trump's gonna win. But then you have that one guy, which is like who's predicted the elections for I think every single election, who has like this like model, and it's he picked Biden. I'm pretty sure I think he picked Trump in like the beginning, but I think he picked Biden after. So yeah, I think no matter what, it's just gonna be just a crazy, especially with like it's gonna be especially with like coronavirus and like all of, like rioting, and like it's gonna be a crazy few days. But um, I guess just for me, like if like, I know like we can't like vote, and like I don't know, I kind of like with politics in general, like my stance on it, like if I guess we're opening it up, like I just kind of feel like it's just so like it's so one side is like side based in the sense where it's like you have to pick Democrat or Republican, or like even if you have for a third party, which is like doesn't matter, like it doesn't count, but it's like you have to like align your ideals with someone that you don't agree with, which is like I guess not it's like a sense of control in a way, because it's not like you exercising your free will. So I mean, like personally, I just I couldn't see myself I couldn't see myself aligning with like either of the two parties. Like not in a way where it's like, because like I'm like for me like personally, I'm just like 16-year-old like privileged ass kid from DE, and it's like I'm not gonna like you know by whatever the outcome is, like just vote and just don't enforce your opinion on others. Like don't belittle someone. Don't make like just I know this is just from my perspective, and you don't have to listen, but like that's just my perspective. Like I feel like at least it's an American right. You got to do it. You don't have to if you don't want to, but like if you do, just do it, and just don't make it a whole like thing, because I feel like that's why we're so divided right now. It's like we just become so egotistical about our perspective that we just don't understand, and just try to understand someone else's perspective. See, even if you disagree with them, see them for who they are, because we're all human on the inside. Nothing really that as simple as that. Try to understand. Don't label people as one thing, because I feel like when people do that, it's like I feel like that's one of the killers of our
I think it's like it's
world.
important, like what you were saying, like to like read multiple sources. You don't want just like you don't just want to be like reading things just to enforce your own opinion. You want to be like always contradicting yourself, always like trying to see what other people think.
Yeah, like this one guy said, this like Socrates or someone said like, or like make sure like I don't know, someone said like philosopher said it, but it's like make sure the like if your argument isn't valid until you know the other person's argument better than your own. So it's like I guess just trying to understand people's perspective, because I feel like if you understand the perspective, you can see where they're coming from. It sounds like oh, you have a Trump, you have like a MAGA hat on, you're a racist, that's just like the pettiness of our society. It's like we just can't seem to forego our ego, and we just label, and we just don't try to understand and just realize that we all want it. We all want. We all are voting for someone that we think will make our lives better, and that's kind of like, I guess, if you don't see that, and if you just see the other person, people voting just out of like hate, then it's like, but then it's like your own hate for that person. So it's like, that's all. I mean, what's your thoughts?
I agree with you, man. Like, I think there's a lot of false news out there, fake news. I mean, people are just, photoshopping things and making scandals out of nothing. And I think it's complete, you know, not good. And people are basing their opinions off like some scandal that has nothing to do with either candidates, and they don't care about like what's good for them or what they're trying to achieve with the country or who's better for the country. They just care about who they are as a person, like
Like
Sam.
you have a responsibility to like actually do something. Like you can't like be this like moral character, but then you just like there's still like 400 like I think it's like 400,000 homeless people in like I don't know if it's just like I mean I don't know if that's the entire America or like California or just whatever. Like I feel like you have to have some action. So it's like a balance of action, responsibility, and morality. I feel like even like though like you might not like from like my perspective as a philosopher, this whole like countries and like world and presidents and all that, it's kind of just like it's like a system of control, but it's the system that we live in. And the only way to I guess contra that is to I guess work smarter and not harder. And to do that, when don't let like just with politics, it's like just don't let it control you. Def- don't let it just be something where it's like you use it as like either like a social status or for more just you know or like a morale or I don't know, just some sort of thing that you can use to hate someone else. Use it because I think that's the whole antithesis of it. It's kind of use it to exercise like what you believe, but also to gain understanding that other people have different beliefs than you, and try to understand why they do. When you come to understand, you can find common ground. When you find common ground, that's where you go forward, because it's not left, it's not right, it's forward. Shout out to my man.
Yeah, but
I guess wrap it up with a final question. Kind of wrap it up, but last question. So this is the question that I ask at all at the end of my podcast. So Edmund, let's start with you. What is your seventh dimension? And to put that in a phrase, what gives you something that that you can feel like yourself, that you can be you, that you don't have to worry about other people? Like, what is that for you? Like, it could be a person, a place, a thing. It could be anything. But like, what is your seventh dimension?
I don't know. I'd say like school probably. I guess like hanging out with you guys, just in a room. It's like chill. I know you guys aren't probably like judging me as much. So I feel like there is probably my seventh dimension. Just like sitting in a room talking to you guys.
Amit, what about you?
Honestly, bro, it's when I'm sleeping. That's the seventh dimension right there. You're not doing anything. But seriously, I don't know. I'd have to say driving. I enjoy driving a lot. I think, I like to drive and, I find it fun. So I feel like, you're concentrated on something else. Like, no matter how bad life is going right now, you're concentrated on like, where you're going. For me, I just, I enjoy doing that. So cars, basically. Yeah.
And I don't know. For me, it's constantly changing. But like right now, it's just I guess when I'm talking, just again, like talking with friends on just maybe doing something or watching like a movie that like interests me. It's like or I feel like things that just make me feel like that I was kind of like represent the beauty of life in my perspective. Going outside, just the woods or like anything like that. I feel like that for me is my seventh dimension, because it's like it's a place where I don't have to worry about all like the my minor things that I guess dictate like college, the job, all that type of stuff. That's like a set course for our like humans. It's like a set path, but when you like that set loop, but when I can break out of that loop and just experience, I guess, this world in a way that makes me happy, I feel like, whether it's with other people, whether it's with myself, or whether it's just I feel like that's my seventh dimension. But yeah, it's a good podcast. Yeah, great podcast. Good. Gonna be a crazy day tomorrow, but whatever happens, we're also human in that. And then,
Hey, do you
yeah.
feel closer to the dimension when you're at school or when you're in Delaware or whatever, like in Lewis?
And for me, I feel like it's a balance. It's like because it's like the whole thing. There's like nature versus nurture. It's like are you best? You like obviously at home, kind of like connecting back to you feel more at with your childhood, with the more certain things that happen in your life. But then like when you're at school, it's more uncertainty, and I feel like life is a balance of uncertainty and uncertainty. So it's like just the yin and yang, I guess. But yeah, it was a good podcast. Thank y'all for coming on. You got good election day 2023. We're gonna watch this in like 10 years and be like, damn. What if you got, I don't know. Maybe we'll, because maybe tomorrow's a crazy day, or maybe it's not. But yeah, it's good. Good podcast. Yes, I think I'm going to end it. So, yeah. All right, cool. See you guys.
See you.